Good evening. I'm Ron Rockstone. Welcome to tonight's episode of Netline. Tonight, we highlight the fragility of large corporate networks. We're lucky to be joined this evening by a very special guest. We'll call him Steve. Steve, what do you do for a living?
I manage the network for a large financial services company, Manhattan.
That sounds fascinating. What is entailed in the managing of a network?
I run checks on network, data security, try to improve the systems and update the policies. I have to audit our network pretty regularly, submit reports on how well it's doing.
Could you get me coffee?
I oversee major system updates, migrations. If there's an outage, that's on me.
So you do a lot of troubleshooting.
Yeah, and we have change windows every weekend. That's where we roll out changes to the network policy. So my whole team gets on a call Saturday night. We test and verify our changes until we're confident that everything works properly.
How do you know when you roll out a change that it's not going to break something?
Well, that's the problem we're having. We have literally millions of lines of config code, so it's really hard to make sure everything's perfect. We'd think everything was good, and then Monday morning, trading floor open, some teeny tiny tweak would break a traffic path. We'd scramble for hours to resolve a P1 outage. My boss even got called in the CIO's office.
Dear Lord, that sounds horrible. You're talking like this was in the past. Did you lose your job? Is that why you're hiding your identity?
No, I just don't want to embarrass my company. I found some software to make my job easier. It does all the network verification for us. Lets us know if our changes are going to result in an error.
Well, that certainly sounds like an improvement. What's the software?
It's called Forward Enterprise, made by Forward Networks.
Oh, the four guys from Stanford, all with PhDs.
Well, I'm not sure how many PhDs they have, but I can tell you that the problem they solved is incredibly difficult. We actually tried to build a similar program ourselves at the bank, but it's just really hard.
Why is it so hard?
To truly achieve network verification, you need to have a completely accurate behavioral model of the network. It has to analyze all possible paths and be able to predict all possible outcomes. When you're talking about a network with tens of thousands of devices, that's a massively complex problem.
And you're saying these guys have cracked the code, so to speak?
Yeah, pretty much. Nothing else like it exists. We looked at one similar system, but it only worked for like one small corner of our network. As soon as we put it into a large-scale environment, it just crashed.
And Forward software doesn't crash?
No, it's really robust. We have it running on a massively complex network across a bunch of locations, across all sorts of different devices, switches, routers, load balancers, firewalls. They support all the different vendors too. Cisco, Arista, Juniper, Palo Alto, A10, all of them.
Well, it sounds like a really big deal. Why isn't everyone using it?
It's pretty new. Guess not everyone knows about it yet.
Well, I suppose that's about to change, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that's all the time we have today to talk about Forward Networks. Join us for our next installment when we will discuss how to fire employees who download viruses at work. Okay, I'm ready for a cocktail. Okay, are we done here? Because this is kind of a bush league operation we have here.